Welcome to online classes DEVO Nalgonda. I am your Chittaluri Satyanarayana working at TSMS Dindi. Today I would like to teach about a poem with the title Once Upon a Time. It is in B reading 8th unit of 10th class. Okay, children? Before getting to the poem, Once Upon a Time, which was written by Gabriel Okara. So let us know a few details about the author, poet of this poem. Gabriel Okara is an African poet. He was born in 1921 in Nigeria. He was educated at Government College, Umuahia. His parents were not rich. He worked as a bookbinder and later as an information officer at Enugu. He also wrote plays and features for broadcasting and became a poet of outstanding ability. His poems appear regularly in Black Office. He has also written a novel called Voice. So, children, this is about the author here. He was Gabriel Okara. He belongs to Africa. That's why he's an African poet. He was born in 1921 in Nigeria, and he was educated in Government College, that is Umuahia. His parents were not rich. His parents were not rich in the sense he is poor. He is from poor family. And also he worked as a bookbinder and later he worked as an information officer at Enugu. And also he not only wrote poems and also plays and features for broadcasting, and he has become the poet of outstanding ability. His poems regularly appear in Black Office, and also he has written a novel called Voice. Okay friends, this is about the author. I hope you all understood well. Let us see what is there in the poem Once Upon a Time. So once upon a time, meaning in bygone days, in olden days, in earlier days, what had happened. Generally, we teach stories, we tell stories with this sort of a phrase, once upon a time. Once there lived a king, likewise. No. So here, once upon a time means long back, years, earlier times. What had happened? Let us come to know with the help of this poem written by Gabriel Okara here. I read out the poem first, listen, and later I'll explain. Once upon a time, son, they used to laugh with their hearts and laugh with their eyes. But now they only laugh with their teeth, while their eyes block cold eyes, search behind my shadow. So in this stanza, poet states that once upon a time, son, meaning here poet addresses his son. That's why here he is calling his son. Son, likewise. He is addressing his son. And what he says here, once upon a time, earlier times, dear son, they used to laugh with their hearts. They used to laugh. Means in those, at the time, the people laughed with their hearts. And also they used to laugh with their eyes. That's what he says. Meaning what here, in bygone days, olden days, people used to laugh with their hearts. Means wholeheartedly they would laugh. And they would laugh with their eyes. Means as they are laughing, that affection which is inside would appear in their eyes. But now they only laugh with their teeth. Now, son, they only laugh with their teeth only. Meaning here, there is no sincerity, there is no purity in their love. That's what a poet means here. Means they are not fair enough. They are not fair enough nowadays. Simply they would laugh with their teeth, he is saying here. While their eyes block cold eyes, such behind my shadow here. Their eyes, how their eyes block cold eyes without any feeling. Simply, somewhat, their eyes are not fair enough. There is no sincerity in their looks even. Some conspiracy, as if they have some conspiracy in their eyes, as if they have been thinking something about some other thing. So simply with that eyes block cold eyes, the eyes which are not fair enough, and search behind my shadow. Means actually forgetting the man who is standing in front of them, they look as if they were searching in his shadow. What would be there in the shadow? So something is there in the man, means not directly looking into the eyes of him, just they will be looking there and here without concentrating to the man who was standing in front of them, as if they were searching something in his shadow. Means they are not fair enough in their looks, they are not fair enough in their smile nowadays. So that's what the contrast between the people of olden days and the people of present day. How do they behave? That's what here in this stanza the poet explained. There was a time indeed they used to shake hands with their hearts, but that's gone, son. Now they shake hands with our hearts, while their left hands search my empty pockets. Next stanza, poet again addressing to his son, he says that there was a time indeed. In fact, dear son, there was a time. What sort of time used to be there? They used to shake hands with their hearts. They would shake their hands with their hearts. As though they are shaking their hands, but they would shake their hands with hearts. Means out of affection, out of love, they would shake their hands, people. But that's gone, son. But the sort of thing where the people would shake their hands with hearts, where the people would shake their hands with a love and affection, that sort of sincerity, that sort of fairness, that sort of purity at their hearts, it's all gone, son. Nowadays we can't see those sort of sincerity and a fair enough thing. Nowadays he says, now they shake hands without hearts. And also he says here, Gabriel Okada says here with his son, how the people of today, they shake their hands without hearts. As they are shaking their hands, there will be no sincerity. There will be no sincerity, and they are not at all fair enough. Simply mechanically they shake their hands. That's what his intention in saying this line. While their left hand search my empty pockets. With the right hand they would shake their hands, and they look as if with their left hand they will be searching his pockets. Means people look very selfish nowadays. And what is the use if I shake my hands with this fellow? What is the profit to me here? So people being very selfish, they think in this way. Even in shaking their hands also, there will be no heart at all, there will be no love at all, sincerity. That's what I said. And also next, feel at home, come again, they say. And when I come again and feel at home once, twice, there will be no thrice, for then I find doors shut on me. In this stanza, poet explains, feel at home, come again, they say, and when I come again and feel at home once, twice, there will be no thrice, for then I find doors shut on me, he says here. So whenever we visit a relative's house or friend's house, At the time, people would invite us, and also people would say to us that, okay, just you had better feel at home, and if you want, come again also. Many times you can come and you can visit our house. That sort of respect always will be with us here. Likewise, people would invite their relatives and friends to their houses at the time. And also once or twice. What is the situation of today? If you go to your relative or friend's house there, they won't invite you later. Actually, they will be waiting, expecting that when do you leave their house. That's what they would expect from you here. And there will be no question of once you visit your friend's house, once you would visit your relative's house, there is a one or second time also there may not be any chance there. Simply they won't allow you, and simply they would never make you feel comfort as long as you are at their house, at their home. So there will be no question of thrice. There will be no question of third time. If you visit once, that will be enough, that's all. Next, there will be no invitation from them to you to visit their home. So for then I find doors shut on me, he says. Second time or third time, if I would visit their house there, definitely there will be doors shut on me. That's all. No welcome at all. No invitation at all. Simply they close the doors on me. So this is the situation of the present day. Likewise, here the poet says to his son in this poem. And next stanza. So I have learned many things, son. I have learned to wear many faces like dresses. Home face, office face, street face, host face, cocktail face, with all their conforming smiles like a fixed portrait smile. And also here poet in this stanza, he explains that, he says that he has learned many things. What he has learned here? He has learned to wear many faces. What does it mean here? He has learned to wear many faces in the sense like dresses, how we go on wearing different dresses, no? Likewise here he says that he would go on changing his faces. He would go on wearing many faces, different faces, like dresses. How we would change our dresses. Likewise, he means that he would change his face. He would change his faces in the sense here like home face. Means when he is stayed at home, he would wear a home face, means he would behave as if he is with the consciousness of that he is at home. A man, when he is at home, how should a man should behave when he is at home? Like that his behavior would be. And also your office face. When he enters the office, when he is amidst his colleagues or employees, at that time he would wear another face. Means his behavior would be different. So what behavior that he would showcase when he is at home, that behavior will not be when he is in the office. So at the time he says, at the time I would wear a office face. That is his meaning here. And street face. And when he is in the street, I would wear a street face. That's what here a poet says. Means how when we are in the street, his behavior would be so different comparing to his behavior when he is in the office and when he is at home. And the host face. And also host face. If any visitors come to his house, then when he is supposed to host those relatives or visitors, at the time he would behave that he is a host. Means what respect that he is supposed to give, what hospitality that he is supposed to offer to those visitors, that his behavior would be in such a way. Yes, likewise. And cocktail face. Here the word cocktail has been given. The meaning is also given in your text here. Cocktail is a drink usually made from a mixture of two or more alcoholic drinks. That is cocktail, but actually a cocktail phase in the sense here when he is spending with somebody there, sharing alcoholic drinks with his friends or relatives. At the time he says that he would wear a cocktail face. Means his behavior would be likewise when he is participated in sharing alcoholic drinks with his friends. His behavior would be somewhat different comparing to his behavior when he is in the office and when he is at home. That's what he says here. With all their confirming smiles like a fixed portrait smile. How his smiling would be there when he is with his friends or relatives in cocktail party? He would say that there would be smiles, but those smiles are like a fixed smiles. They are fixed like a portrait smile used. Portrait means generally we see that in portraits of pictures of people, generally a smile will be there. There will be no life at all. Artificial smile would be there. So there is no life, there is no, it is almost like mechanized, artificial life. There will be no sincerity and fairness in their laughs. Like, that is a portrait smile. For the sake of photos, for the sake of photograph, generally we would smile. Generally a photographer, the person who takes our photographs would ask us, please smile, smile like that. At that time, what sort of smile we would have? We would have only an artificial smile. The smile won't come from the bottom of our heart. So likewise here in the parties, like cocktail parties, poet says that when he is there, he would wear a fixed portrait smile, but there will be no sincerity in his smile. That's what he wanted to convey to us with this stanza. And coming to next stanza, and I have learned to laugh with only my teeth and shake hands without my heart. I have also learned to say goodbye when I mean good riddance, to say glad to meet you without being glad, and to say it's been nice talking to you after being bored. In this stanza here, the poet explains to us that, and also he is explaining to his son here. He is addressing his son. He is telling, what does he say here? He has also learned to laugh with only his teeth. So to the present day society here, he had already learned many things. That's what he went on saying to us, saying to his son here. And some more things that he had learned. What he had learned here? He has learned, he says that, he has learned to laugh with only his teeth. Means there will be only his teeth would appear when he smiles, but there will be no sincerity in his heart while he is laughing. That's what also artificial laugh he would show. He would laugh artificially. There will be no sincerity and not at all fairness in his heart. That's what he says that. And also he says he has learned shake hands without his heart. Earlier he would, in his olden days, in his bygone days, he would shake his hands with heart. Means with some sincerity and being fair enough, he would share his hands. But what is the situation now? He has learned to shake his hands without heart, artificially. Means he also has been mechanized by looking at the people's behavior at present day. And also he says he has learned to say goodbye when I mean good riddance. So he also learned to say goodbye to the people whom he met on his way. But actually inside his heart there is a good riddance. Good riddance in the sense of a feeling of relief when an unwanted person leaves. If you don't want a person, if he leaves after spending a few seconds with you there, if he conveys that he is leaving, you feel very happy actually inside. But outside simply you would say goodbye. So this is called good riddance. So though in his heart there is a good riddance, means though in his heart if he feels relief when he found that unwanted person is leaving, but outside simply would say goodbye, goodbye likewise. So that's what also poet has learned, he says. And also he says that to say glad to meet you without being glad. And also he has learned to say glad to meet you. When he meets the people, he learned to say glad to meet you, nice to meet you. But actually there is no glad in his heart. That's what he says. And to say it's been nice talking to you after being bored. And also he has learned, he says that, he has learned it's been nice talking to you With the people he used to say that. But there is, even though he bored, actually he feels boredom with that particular person while he is speaking with him or something there, speaking to him or something there. But in such case also, outside he would say that it's been nice talking to you likewise. That is the thing that he has learned. Means he also learned how to act with the people here. There is no sincerity and purity at his heart, not at all fair enough. So that sort of thing that he has learned from son, I have learned all these things from by observing this present day society. That's what he wants to say here. But believe me, son, I want to be what I used to be when I was like you. I want to unlearn all these muting things. Most of all, I want to relearn how to laugh, for my laugh in the mirror shows only my teeth like a snake's bare fangs. But in this stanza, here the poet explains us, but believe me, son, though I have learned these many things here, but I want to be what I used to be. He says that how he used to be in his childhood days, in his in olden days. So, my dear son, believe me that I want to be what I used to be. Earlier, how he was in his behavior, in the same manner, he wanted to be at present. That's what he is telling his son. When I was like you means he is telling his son that when he was like his son, when he was at the age of his son, how he used to be, in the same manner I want to be even at present also. I can't act, I can't imitate the people, and I can't be selfish, and I want to be very sincere in my behavior. That's what he wants to convey. And I want to unlearn all these muting things. So he says that all these sort of things are muting things, means expressionless things. Simply, as the people mechanized, as the people started acting there without sincerity, without without being fair enough, simply they would go on shaking their hands, they would go on smiling. These are all muting things, he says that. Expressionless things. So he says that he doesn't like all these muting things, expressionless things. Most of all, I want to relearn how to love. Sir, son, though I have learned these many things from this present day society, but most of all, I want to relearn how to laugh with sincerity. For my laugh in the mirror shows only my teeth like a snake's bare fangs. When I here the poet says that earlier as he had told that he had learned how to laugh, means he would laugh simply, mechanically, artificially likewise. And also this smile of him, he compared, when he smiles, his teeth when his teeth appear, they would his teeth like snake's bare fangs, they would say that. Snakes, like animals, fangs in the sense, long sharp teeth of some animals like snakes and dogs. They have long and sharp teeth, snakes will have long sharp teeth. So here when he smiles, his teeth would appear, but you would see in his teeth as if they are not teeth of human being, they would teeth of a snake. Means what he wanted to say with this line, with this metaphor here, actually, there is no sincere, some conspiracy. Snake fangs are a symbol of a bad, it's a harmful animal, Likewise, there is no sincerity, there is no fairness in his smile, just that sort of mechanical, artificial smile he would laugh, and that I don't want to learn. That's what he says here. Earlier he would smile, means earlier the people would smile, there would be sincerity here, but nowadays it's not there. That's what his intention. But I don't want to, my smile would be fair enough. His smile, he wanted that his smile would be, should be fair enough. That's what he wanted to convey here. In the last stanza here, so show me, son, how to laugh. Show me how I used to laugh and smile once upon a time when I was like you. So, dear son, again the poet says here, dear son, show me how to laugh. Show me now how to laugh. And show me how I used to laugh and smile. And show me how I used to laugh in earlier days, earlier times. Show me how I used to smile in earlier times. And once upon a time when I was like you. In earlier times, once upon a time, long back, when I was like you, when I was like at the age of you, how I would smile, how I would laugh. So, my dear son, show me that sort of love, that sort of smile with sincerity, purity at your heart. That sort of smile and laugh I want, the poet says, addressing his son here. So, meaning here, just he compared the behavior of the people in olden days, how it would have been, how it has been now. Likewise here, means particularly what is the message that he wanted to give with the help of this poem here. People have been mechanized. There is no sincerity and love and affection and purity at their hearts in present day society. So it would not be there. People should be fair enough. That's what he wants to say. That's what he wants to convey to us. People should be fair enough. People should laugh at other people with the sincerity, with the purity at their hearts. But people have been mechanized. People are with artificial smiles, artificial laughs, artificial shaking hands, and all these things are going on here in this present day society. So the main intention of the poet here is that people should be fair and like how the people used to be in earlier times. That's what he wants to say here. So here please look at these hard words also in this textbook, and once again you read this poem, friends, and by this time that's all. I hope that you all understood well this poem of Gabriel Okada with the title Once Upon a Time. Okay friends, and thank you for spending your valuable time up to this time listening my video lesson. And this is your Chittaluri Satyanarayana working at TSMS Dindi. And thank you friends. I'll meet you in my next class. Okay friends, until then, bye bye. Have a nice day. Welcome to online classes DEO Nalgonda. I am your Chittaluri Satyanarayana working at TSMS Dindi, Telangana State. Okay children, today I would like to teach you the lesson with the title, What is my name? So this is the lesson prescribed for you, and it was written by the author P. Satyavati. So before getting into the lesson, we had better know a few details about Satyavati ma'am under the heading of about the author. Srimati P. Satyavati is one of those writers who have brought feminism to the speak in Telugu. She has brought feminism to the peak level in Telugu literature. So, Srimati P. Satyavati is one of those famous writers in Telugu literature, and she has brought the concept of feminism, means women's nib, women's liberty. She speaks through his stories particularly about, she focuses on the liberty of women, how the women are supposed to have their rights to live freely with freedom and with freedom of expression and with the freedom and likewise. So you know that how the women have been suppressed in sharing rights, equal rights with the men in the society. But that is where Satyavati ma'am has focused on feminism through her stories. Though she is a retired English lecturer, she was great understanding of the Telugu accent and the idiom of the respective regions. Actually, Satyavati ma'am was an English lecturer. Though she was professionally English lecturer, but she has a great understanding, great knowledge of Telugu and the idiom of Telugu language and in respective regions, and she is aware of the different accents of language in different areas. That also she knows well, and she is adept in portraying human experience universal. Generally in her stories we would observe universality will be there. Universally some human experience she would portray in her stories. Particularly she focuses on human experiences, human relations, how the human beings behavior and how do they experience in the society. Everything she would like to focus particularly. Universal thoughts, universal principles, universal thought process she would focus in her stories. The technique of appealing to the readers by weaving the story wonderfully with a philosophical touch and theological aspect is her forte. The technique of appealing to the readers by weaving the story wonderfully. She weaves the story wonderfully. So fabulous, fantastic, in a fantastic way, Satyavati ma'am weaves the story. It is very attractive, it is really splendid. It drives the readers to read the story completely here. We would never stop reading the story here. So we would go on continuing. That sort of attraction, that sort of a weaving style is there in Satyavati ma'am's writings. She has published 4 anthologies of short stories. 4 anthologies of short stories she has published. 5 novels also she has published, and a collection of essays also. She has won a number of prestigious awards. Many awards she has won. This story, which is been given to you in your textbook with the title What is My Name, actually it is originally published as Illalakagane Pandugavuna in Telugu in 1990. In Telugu, this same story is with the title Illalakagane Pandugavuna. With the title, that story was published and it was popularized. It has won many hearts of the readers. That story has been translated into English. It was translated with the title What is My Name, and the translator is Vadraevu Vijayalakshmi and Rangarao. Both of them translated this Illalakagane Telugu story into English. This English version has been prescribed for you as a lesson. And so it has been translated into almost all South Indian languages, including Hindi. So that's what about Satyavati ma'am, and I am very fortunate to say that I have been acquainted with this madam, and I participated in many meetings with her. That's what I feel proud to say that. And coming to this lesson, What is My Name? Actually, in this story, before getting to the lesson here, an excerpt is there here. What is that excerpt stays here? Have you noticed how your father calls your mother? Does he use her name or not? How do the neighbors address her? Does anyone address her by name? What about your grandmother? In this story, P. Satyavati describes how a woman forgets her own name since no one addresses her by name. How does a woman gain her identity by name, by marriage, by motherhood, by education, by profession, or by anything else? Read the story keeping these questions in mind. So here Satyavati madam in this lesson wants to describe how a woman forgets her own name since no one addresses her by name. Actually, in this story, a woman forgets her name. She doesn't know, she doesn't have an idea what is her name, regarding her name. See how shocking it is really. Because why a woman would forget her name here? Because nobody has ever addressed her with her name. She would, the people would call her with different things, different styles of addressing or something there, but they would never call her with her name. That's why the woman forgets her name. So before that year, Adar asked you that, did you check, please children, you check that, how your father would address your mother? Did you ever listen? How does your father use your mother's name in calling your mother? And did you observe that how do your neighbors call your mother? Does anyone address her by name? Did you notice that? Did anyone address her with her name? And what about your grandmother? Did you observe? Did you notice that? Was she addressed by her name? So just you check yourself. But in this story, the very title of the story is like this. What is my name? In the sense, a lady in this story, character in this story, forgets her name because she had never been addressed by with her name by the people. So that's what one day she would forget her name even. What is her name also she doesn't remember. So in this story, a young woman, before being a housewife, and she was well-educated woman and very cultured and intelligent and capable and quick-witted with a sense of humor and elegance, beauty, whatnot, every characteristics that lady has. And falling for her beauty and intelligence, also the dowry which her father offered. And when she got married, her father also offered a good dowry also even. And one fine morning, a young man tied the 3 sacred knots around her neck and made her the housewife to his household. And at the time, her husband told her that, look Ammadu, this is your home. This is your home. Look Ammadu, this is your home. So when they both got married, her husband told her. Then the housewife immediately, at the very saying of her husband, she pulled the end of her saree and tucked it in at the waist and started swabbing the entire house. And she swabbed, she mopped, cleaned entire house and decorated with floor with the Muggulu designs. Okay. So by looking at her Muggulu and by looking at her task of swabbing, and her husband promptly praised her work. He praised it, saying that you are dexterous at swabbing the floor. Oh, you are skillful, dexterous in the sense here, skillful. That is the meaning of dexterous here. So you are dexterous at swabbing the floor, even more dexterous in drawing the Muggulu. And your Muggulu designs are looking so beautiful. So you are more and more skillful in drawing Muggulu also even. Shabash, keep it up. So he said it in English, he praised her, saying these words in English and giving her a pat on the shoulder in appreciation. So this lady, newly married lady, overjoyed. She felt so happy with the praising of her husband, and later she began living with swabbing, and swabbing itself has become the chief mission in her life. Means she started giving utmost importance in her life only for the swabbing. Swabbing has become a mission that has become ultimate work, task for her. So that's what she has been habituated for it a lot, that it means. And she scrubbed the house spotlessly clean all the times, and she would keep her house beautifully decorated with multicolored designs. And that's how her life went on. With a splendid, sumptuous is the word here, sumptuous in the sense here, splendid. Splendid. So wonderfully she would keep her house splendid in a wonderful manner, and ceaseless supply of swabbing clothes. Always she has been very busy with swabbing clothes. She has been very busy swabbing the floor, mopping the floor. That task has become a mission in her life. Okay, and she has been with full of Muggu baskets and all things, household tasks she would attend. One day, as this was the case here, one day, while she was scrubbing the floor, the housewife suddenly asked herself, just something stuck in her mind. Yes, what is my name? She questioned herself. This query, which means question, this question shook her up. She was shaken aback with this question when it was stuck in her mind. What is my name? She questioned herself. Immediately when this question raised in her mind, leaving the mopping cloth and muggu basket there itself, she stood near the window and started scratching her head to find out what is her name was. And she lost in her thoughts. Her mind has become blank. No answer even in her mind to that question. What is my name? What is my name? So the house across the road, so just she was trying to trying to recall her name there, but she could not get any answer for that question. So that was the time here, suddenly she saw across the road some opposite, one house is there. To that house there is a name plate. On that name plate, Mistress M. Suhasini, MA PhD, Principal, some ex-college. It is written, encrypted on that name plate there. By looking at that name plate, this lady, too had a name as her neighbor did. Yes, I should also have the name like my neighbor did, no? I should also have the name, no? That lady has her name and she has kept that name on the name plate with full details like where she works and what she is and all. But like her, why can't I have the name? I should also have the name, no? Likewise she questions. But I couldn't recall my name. How could I forget my name? In my scrubbing jail, total, I have become very busy in scrubbing, in attending all household tasks like this. I have forgotten my name, she thought. What shall I do now? Again she questions herself. And the housewife was perturbed. She was disturbed a lot. Perturbed is the word here. Perturbed in the sense disturbed. Okay. So this is the situation of a housewife here, right? Disturbed. So completely she perturbed with these thoughts in her mind. Her mind became totally restless. So she finished her daubing for the day. And later, meanwhile, as she had finished her work at this time here, at this level, maid servant arrived. And at that time, hoping at least maid servant would remember her name. That's why, expecting that. So why can't I ask, why can't I make an inquiry about my name? Why shouldn't I ask maid servant here to know my name? Thinking likewise, she asked her maid servant also. Look, do you know my name? So this housewife asked, this lady, housewife asked maid servant, inquired of her name, asked her name. Then maid servant replies, "What is it, Amma?" said the girl. "What do we have to do with names of mistresses like you? What is need to us to know the name of you? You are all mistresses to us. We would, means your maid servant says that we have been habituated to call you as mistress, madam, that's all. What do we have to do with your name? What is the use of knowing your name for us? You are only a mistress to us. The mistress of such and such a white storied house. Simply we would call you that. If they are supposed to say, they simply say, she is so and so white storied house mistress, she is so and so mistress, like that. So likewise she replied, "Yes, true, of course. How can you know poor thing? Yes, it is a poor thing. Yes, knowing my name is a poor thing. How can you know that? Yes, you are right." That's what here housewife told maid servant. So likewise. And again one fine morning, again on the same day here, our children also came from school for lunch in the afternoon. At that time, by looking at her children also, this housewife hoping, knowing that yes, children at least they may tell my name. Thinking likewise, she again inquires of her name. She asked her children also, "Look here, children, do you know my name?" Again she asked. With this question, the children were taken aback. They were surprised. What Mom, your Amma for us, your name is Amma only. Ever since we were born, we have known only this. Ever since we were born, we have known only this. Amma, Amma, like that, we would call you. Even the letters come or only in father's name. Letters which we receive by post, those letters also with our father's name only, because everyone calls him by his name. So, we would come to know what is the name of our father. But you never told us your name, but no letters, no, your name is not at all there on the letters. You don't even get letters addressed to your name. No letters addressed to your name here. So how can we come to know that your name? We know that we have been habituated to call you only Amma. What is this? Likewise, children replied, yes. Who will write letters to me? Yes. When children told her that no letters addressed to your name, when they told likewise, she told yes. Who will write letters to us? Father and mother are there, but they only make phone calls once in a month. But father and mother are there for me even also. My father and mother also would make calls to me once in a month. That too once in a month they would call me. But they would never write letters. Even housewife thinks herself that even my sisters are immersed with swapping their houses. And what about my sisters here? Many here, our sisters are also been very busy swapping their houses there. Even if my sisters met me in some marriage or kumkum ceremony functions likewise, they charted away their time always about new mugulu, charting about new mugulu or new dishes. What are the new dishes to cook? What are the new mugulu to design? But no letters. Even our sisters also have been always charting away their time discussing these things, mugulu designs and all dishes to cook and all like that. So by thinking this thing here, the housewife was very much disappointed and she grew more restless. And the urge to know her name grew stronger. Somehow or the other, she wanted to know her name by hook or crook. So later, as she was with these sort of thoughts in her mind, a neighbor came to invite her for kumkum ceremony. So when she had seen her neighbor, she expected again her neighbor at least would say her name. But the housewife asked her neighbor, hoping she at least would remember her name. But when she asked her neighbor also about her name here, the neighbor giggling, the neighbor lady said, somehow or the other, I haven't asked your name, nor have you told me. I had never asked your name, even you have never told me your name. So simply when I am supposed to talk about you here, she is the lady right hand side white storied house. She lives in the right hand side white storied house. There she is. And she is the lady pharmaceutical company manager's wife. If not that, she is the lady who is very fair and tall enough. And that's how I refer your name. But I had never used your name. Likewise, neighbor also replied. That's all the neighbor told housewife here. So it's no use. This is a case of housewife here. Nobody is telling her name here. Though she went on inquiring of her name. So at last she thought that, even my children's friends, if she is asked to, she thought of asking her children's friends also. Yes, even if I ask my children's friends also, what they would say? They know me only as Kamala's mother or some auntie or some likewise. They also definitely would answer like that. So now at last only one person is left. So one person came to her mind. What is that person? Yes, at last she has the hope only on her husband. Yes, if any person is there who can remember my name, that is only my husband. So I had better ask my husband. That's what she thought this time. So during the night meal, she asked even her husband also, look here, I have forgotten my name. If you remember it, will you please tell me what is my name? Again she asked it, even her husband also. So when she asked her husband about her name, her husband, her respected husband, burst out laughing. Simply he burst out with laughing and said, "What is it, dear? Never has it happened before. You are talking about your name today. Ever since we were married, I have got used to calling you only as Amoy. You two never told me not to address you that way because you have a name of your own. What is this, dear, here? As it never happened before here, you are talking about your newly that this is the first time that you are asking your name. I had never called you with your name here. And you also never told me that I should address you with your name. But what's happened now? What happened to you now? Everyone calls you Mrs. Murthy, don't they? Is it enough? No, that everyone calls you Mr. Murthy. What is the need to know your name? Again, her husband asked her. Then she replies to her husband, "Not Mr. Murthy, I want my own name. What shall I do now?" Again, she asks her husband. She said in anguish. Then he replies, "What's there? You choose a new name, some name or the other." The husband advised, "What is there? Just you're better choose a new name, no? What is wrong in that?" He answers, he asks her again, "Very nice. For example, your name is Satyanarayana Murthy here. But will you keep quiet if I ask you to change your name like Sivaravu or Subbarao or something there?" No. I want my name only. That's what she emphasized. I want my name. I don't want to change my name. You know my name, please tell me. That's what housewife asked. So likewise, it's all right, you are an educated woman. Then her husband gives her a clue that that's all, you're educated woman. So don't you know that even at least this common sense, your name must be on the certificates. Don't you have this much of common sense even? Go and find out. You can get your name if you search for your certificates like that. So likewise, she went on searching for certificates also there. When she opened her almirah in her house, that almirah is with full of pattu sarees, chiffon sarees, handloom sarees, wild sarees, matching blouses, petticoats, bangles, beads, pedals, all this is kumkum barinas, silver plates, silver containers to keep sandalwood, paste, ornaments, all things arranged in the fashion, orderly fashion. But nowhere could she find her certificates. All this stuff she has got, but nowhere she could find her certificates. After marriage, she had never bothered to carry those certificates there. After marriage, she had completely forgotten to carry her certificates here. So she could not find even her certificates there. So at last, she thought that she wanted to go to her mother's house there. So she went to her mother's house. She visited, and there also she asked her mother to know what is her name means. There will be no answer at all. So her mother also asked her that why she had suddenly visited their house and all like that. And are your children okay? And your husband and children are okay? Then why suddenly you came? Why have you come alone? Likewise, her mother asks questions. Behind affectionate inquiries of the father and mother, there was a strain of suspicion. Why this lady has come to my house suddenly here? What had happened to her? There is a suspicion in her mother's questions there. Amma, tell me what is my name? Again, she will ask her mother also even. What is it, Amma? You are our elder daughter who gave you education up to BA and got you married with 50,000 rupees as dowry, and who we took care of your two deliveries. Each time we alone bore the expenses of the maternity home. You have two children. Your husband has a good job, a very nice person too. Your children are well mannered. Our mother went on saying all these things, what she had done for her and all, like in the name of marriage and all. Then she vexed up with her answers, and this housewife told her, "It's not my history, Amma. It's my name I want. Tell me if you know my name. Why you are telling this history here?" she asked. "At least tell me where my certificates are." Again she asked to find out her name on certificates like this. "I don't know, child. Recently we cleaned out the almirah of old papers and files, and we arranged glassware somewhere there, and just go and check here. If you may find or may not, I don't have an idea," like that her mother replied. So later the housewife took a good bath and ate her meal, and she could not sleep even because her mind is with full of these thoughts in her mind there, and she wanted to search in her certificates there. Even in that also she could not find her name there. So one fine morning on her way, what happened? She had met her friend. She is also, her friend was also like her, a married woman and housewife like her. But she had not made swabbing the sole purpose of her life. She met her friend, her classmate. She was also married, but she is not, she was also housewife like her, but she had not made swabbing a sole purpose of her life. But this lady, this housewife has made swabbing her a sole purpose of her life. But her friend was not like that. Scrubbing was only a part of her life. So she remembered her name and the names of her friends also. So particularly the friend recognized our housewife. Our friend recognized our housewife in this story here. And Sarada, my dear Sarada, she shouted and embraced her. When by very looking at her, her friend addressing with her name, Sarada, my dear Sarada, likewise, she embraced our housewife here in this story. The housewife felt so happy at the time here. And you are a Sarada. You came first in our school in the 10th class. Sarada, what is that? Did you forget your name? You are Sarada. You are our classmate. You came first in 10th class. No, you came first in the music competition, even conducted by the college. You used to paint good pictures too. We were all 10 friends together, you know that. All together we were 10 friends. I meet all of them sometime or the other, but we write letters also to each other. But only you have gone out of our reach. We could not meet you. You are not at all in touch with all of us. Tell me, why are you living incognito? Incognito is there here. Incognito in the sense, which means having a concealed identity. You are only the incognito. You are only in concealed identity. We don't know whereabouts of you. Our friend explained all these things to her. Then housewife replies, yes, Pramila, what you say is true. Of course, I am Sharada. Until you said it, I could not remember it. All the shelves of my mind were taken up with only one thing. How well I can scrub the floors, how well I keep my house, how well I can perform the household tasks. I remember nothing else. Had I not met you, I would have gone mad. Really, had I not met you, I would have gone mad really here. Likewise, the housewife named Sarada here. That is the way the housewife came to know her name with the help of her friend. Sarada returned home, climbed the attic and fished out her certificates. Here, fished out. The word has been used. Fished out in the sense here, she searched for her certificates. Fishing here means searching. Okay. And the pictures, she found her certificates later, the pictures, what she had drawn in her school days, old albums, everything she succeeded in getting out. She also searched further and managed to find the prizes she had received in her school and college day competitions. And by looking at all those prizes and certificates what she had won earlier, she was overjoyed. She returned home. So you have not been here, look at the state of the house. So when she reached her aunt's house, her husband immediately asked her, look at the state of the house. All these days you had been at your mother's house. Look at this house, how it had been. It's look like a chowdhury. Everywhere dirt. Oh, what a relief you are here. At last, now it is like a festival for us. As you came here means it is like a festival for us. Her husband says to her, because he feels happy because she again would attend her household task. No, that's what made him feel happy here. So Sarada's husband said like this, just scrubbing the floor does not make a festival. So then she replies to her husband, housewife, just scrubbing the floor does not make a festival here. Scrubbing the floor itself not a festival for me here. By the way, from now onwards, don't call me Emoy Gimoy. My name is Sarada. Call me Sarada. Understood? That's what she suggested. She wanted her husband as she came to know about her name, and she wanted some self-respect, self-dignity, and that is the reason she had suggested her husband to call her with her name, not to call her with Emoy Gimoy likewise. Having said that, she went inside humming joyously. And Sarada, who had always cared to so much for a discipline, keeping an eye on every corner, checking if there was dust or making sure things were properly arranged, whether all the things at her home were arranged properly or not, and everything is clean or not, everything is in respective order or not. Likewise, she checked once and later. Now she sat on the sofa. Earlier she had been very busy with mopping or swabbing and this thing or that thing, checking dirt, this or that likewise. Now peacefully, this housewife sat on the sofa which had not been dusted for the last 2 days. That particular sofa where she had, where she sat, that had not been dusted for the last 2 days also. There she simply sat there, showing the children an album of her. Means she did not care about all these cleaning tasks and whatever it may, because she felt as if she was born newly with new thoughts. Likewise, sitting on that sofa, she started showing the children an album of her paintings that she had brought for them. All those paintings, when she had painted, when in her college days and school days, what paintings that she had painted, she started showing all her paintings to her children. Okay, so this is what here the lesson, in this lesson, she wants to convey a message. She wants to give us a message that how the women were neglected in male dominated society here, how they lost their identity. So the wish of the author in this through this lesson is that women should be treated equally with the men, and they should also know their identity, and they should also have that sort of a freedom to work according to their will and wish, that freedom of expression and that identity. Women should also be there. They should be respected. They should also be honored equally along with the men in this society. That's what Satyavati ma'am wants to focus particularly about women's liberty and women's freedom of living, where women are supposed to be respected and honored by this society. So that is what identity, women should be identified with their name. But what is it? Forgetting one's name is, see that there is no identity at all for women in the society. Women should also be identified with their names. They should live with their self-respect. Their self-respect should be honored and respected, honored by the society. That's what she wanted to convey. That is the message she wanted to convey in this lesson. So, children, I hope you all understood well this lesson. Okay, please read and learn many more things. And this is your Chittaluri Satyanarayana from TSMS Dindi, Telangana State. So, thank you one and all. Have a nice day.